Okay. I have a lot of questions about Alice Schalek, about Jewishness, but it's not today the day to talk about that. And I want to just to say to Marta that from the state school, the German school from the empire, the teacher, a part of course, lived the region, but another part I found around 10 cases that okay, of course, the school closed after First World War, the German school, and the teacher go to work for the Commissariat Civile as office workers, and they are they are so well considered in the office because they are prepared to work, so prepared, and they know more languages, and they are helpful for the new regime in the region. So, but I didn't find any case about Slovenian teachers. So, this is a good point also to underline.
Yes, I think that this is the answer is very clear, because the Slovene population was in the view of Italian authorities, also military authorities, was obstacle to occupied in to Italianize quickly the new provinces. And I think this is the reason that didn't you find any data about the Slovene teachers in the administrative, new administrative situation.
There are no other questions. I would like to ask Marta about this retraditionalization, if you can call it. The term is not very it's used mostly after 45, but after 18, I was thinking about the case of Zofka Feder and her becoming part of Yugoslav propaganda in those years. So it's kind of woman without quality in her case, if you compare it somehow with the other, from really liberal thought to a strictly nationalist propaganda. So how could you somehow insert her in this post-war reality?
Yes, I have in my mind text written by Paula Hachever, especially in her memoirs, but I have in my mind also other memoirs written by emancipated women, teachers who work in Trieste. And in these memoirs, the authors underlined that they left the emancipation out of their lives in this moment, because the nation is so important, because the fight for the national rights. The fight for the national rights is so important. In this, yes, had the priority, and I think that this in Ženski Spet is these two messages are present. The messages about the emancipation, but this new because in Slovenka, Slovenka was the journal who was edited in Trieste in the 19th century. We don't find, okay, we find also underline, but know this necessity to introduce the roots of the nation, the national customs, so in this way.
Thank you. Thank you all for 3 fascinating papers. I'm really eager to learn more about what all three of them actually. But I have one particular question for Monica. I really enjoyed your presentation. I've never heard of Alice Schalek, and now I realize that this was a great little lack on my part. I was thinking about your very telescoped critique of the idea of the intellectual at the end. And I was thinking that one might even carry it a bit further. Not there? Yeah. Oh, okay. These things are so picky. What I was thinking is that the whole idea of individuals being autonomous is incredibly problematic. I mean, what kind of an autonomous individual is a pregnant woman, for example? So I'd just like to encourage you to really kind of slice away that concept itself. There's a lot of this kind of liberal gendered baggage around the concept. I don't know what you think.
And also in general, the whole theory of what it means to be an intellectual is in a very Marxist domain. So, I mean, you don't have, or at least I didn't come across of any theory which wouldn't be Marxist. You know, all the great Marxist thinkers were thinking about it, but they were mainly thinking about themselves, like, you know. And the norm was always the male intellectual, of course. And it's also interesting how if you look other worldview, for example, Milton Friedman or Hayek, they hated the notion, the intellectual, because it means it's always left. And this is also something that is, I mean, from the sociological or historiographical point of view, maybe quite problematic.
Have you ever heard of or read Stefan Collini?
No.
Okay, he's a British intellectual historian, and he wrote a very interesting book called Absent Minds. And I think it's in Absent Minds, but I can look this up for you.
Yeah,
he's got a whole thing about intellectuals. What he's interested in doing is pointing out how suspicious the British are of the whole idea of the intellectual. And according to him, this is rooted in the fact that the intellectual was born during the Dreyfus Affair, that it's Zola, the first intellectual, blah, blah, blah. And therefore, it's not about it being Marxist, it's about it being French. and therefore, theoretical and abstract and against British empiricism. So it might be interesting to take a look at, you know, because it really does think a lot about this and takes it sort of outside the narrow, it's all Marxist.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am afraid we should stop here our discussion and maybe continue during the very short break. 5 minutes break, then conclusion, and then the lunch when we can continue to talk.